it's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story Podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater. Welcome to another episode of Her Success Story. On today's episode, it is a content episode, and I wanted to talk about the celebration of moms. We're coming into Mother's Day, and this week is always a week that I really think about all the things that moms do, all the fortunate things I've had in my own mother and grandmother in my world. And it's really interesting because in the last couple of days, things have been really relevant on the how much working moms do. So I think today's episode, I want to really celebrate the working mothers of the world in various perspectives. So here's a couple of reference points. A working mom's job is so much more. Whether you own a business, whether you're in the corporate world and you're on a career track, a mother's work is there's that expression that goes, a mom's work is never done, a mother's work is never done. So I was just talking to somebody the other night, and she told me, she goes, she just came back to work after having her second child. And in her first week back, funny thing, on the way to work, she is getting text messages from a variety of places. One, her nanny forgot to tell her she needs to leave early on Friday. The cleaning lady canceled. The two doctor's appointments had to be rescheduled and are on conflicting times of what her work schedule is. And there was, she shared with me that there was this laundry list of all these other things. And she said, they always say, the difference between one child and two child is the difference between, the single and a dozen. And she said, it's so interesting. Here I am navigating it all on the train, texting everybody, rescheduling everything. And I always think of a working mother as a woman who is running her own army, her whole campaign, and she has troops everywhere. You're logistically navigating everything that's in your career and business. You're logistically navigating where your kids are. And it's so poignant to think about. It doesn't matter if your kids are young, toddler age, high school age, adult age. It does get lighter in the adult world, but the blessing is they're still part of our lives, and we want to be part of their lives. You're always navigating who's going where, what's going on. Your children's lives are upmost in your thought consciousness of who's going where. Does this child have that doctor's appointment? Does this child do some speech therapy? Does this child do play an instrument, play soccer? Who's going to practice? What parent is picking up? Is the babysitter picking up? How are they getting from A to B? There's a field trip. There's finals. Wow. Even if there's in college, now there's things we want to send our kids a little something to during finals. We want to be touching base with them. We're thinking about their schedules and when between their schedules and our schedules we can connect. It is an enormous thing that working mothers take on. It's an enormous feat. One of the really interesting things is when I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about my own experience as a working mother through their early years of babies and toddlers, through high school and looking for colleges and the various different schedules of who was where, elementary school when they were going to different after school programs. And of course, there was nothing that was consistent any day of the week as far as both kids going to the same direction on the same day. And even now, the idea of having one child living in a different time zone than the rest of our family, and how we stay in touch And always thinking of that scheduling and thinking about all those things on the plate, I stopped and I said, well, how did I do this? What tips can I share? And I thought about it, and I was like, I started making notes, and I had a huge aha or revelation. Said, it is the same thing the same tips that I use in business. And three things came to the surface really clear. One, are you delegating as much as possible? Okay. Are you asking for help in places in your parenting, in your personal world? It's not just in business. How and what areas can we ask for help that we're not? Really simple things is, my next thing was the support. So can things be delegated? And then is the support in place to delegate? So when we look at those two components and how they intermatch with the third component, are we calendaring to the best of our ability and planning ahead with logistics? So those were the three things that I thought about of how I navigated it. And when I work with a bunch of my clients who are mothers with children of various ages, some of my team members are moms with kids of various ages. It truly brings me to these are the three key things that are so prevalent in business that are also prevalent in working moms. So are you delegating what you can? Are you asking for that help and moving things off your plate? Do you have the support in place? And if you do, what it looks like. If you don't, what can it look like? So I'll always say one of the biggest things of support have been almost things that people find hysterical for me. They're like, you talk about your dry cleaner as if they're like your friend. I said, oh, my dry cleaner is a major support team. For 20 some odd years in printing, I wore a business suit. Business suits don't go in the wash. They need to be dry cleaned. In Slater Success, I speak, I wear dresses, I network, I have outfits, I travel, things need to be ready. And I've always known my dry cleaner by their name. I know, I ran into a funny side note story. We were on our way back from a trip, and in the airport, I see my old dry cleaner from when I lived uptown versus where I live now. And he's like, Ivy. It's like, Larry, how are you? He introduces his wife, and we were sitting and talking. I asked about how his daughters were, and anybody else, they hear these stories, they're like, you're really like serious about this. I said, my dry cleaner is a key support in keeping me looking professional, clean, right, professionally ready, with a warmth and part of my support team. My cleaning lady I've had in my support team for over 20 years. She's become that extension of the family. She, when my dad was, suddenly hospitalized, and it was really, it was an emergency, and they came in and the EMS to take care of him. The house was a wreck, and my mom was distraught of going back home and seeing that. So she stayed with me that night as my dad was in the hospital, and I called my cleaning lady, who of course became her cleaning lady, and my sister's cleaning lady, and my girlfriend's cleaning lady. I called her that night, and I told her what happened, and she goes, I'm just going to show up really early in the morning. And she goes, your mom's not going to be there? I said, no, she's going to come home with me tonight. She goes, okay, I'll take care of it. She will not walk into her home looking like that, and bringing back any of those moments. These are little things, and they're huge things. So are you pulling and are you asking for support? Your spouses, your partners, are you asking them to do things or are you just taking everything on? A wonderful woman I was talking to yesterday said, hey, Ivy, I know you're big into gardening, and I have some guys up in your neighborhood, schoolboys. and she's on the board of an organization up there and their age bracket is high school boys. She goes, I have some guys that would be really great if they could come over and help you. I was like, oh my goodness, love that. It would be fabulous. And, it's a win-win. It's a win for me and it's a win for them, for the boys and that school to have something to do. So with this, pull together your support team. And when you look at your support team as a working mom, that support team looks a little differently. Be willing to explore all the areas. Be willing to ask for your nannies, your babysitters to maybe take on a little bit more. One of my old babysitter, I came home one night and she said to me, she goes, oh, I was organizing the kids' drawers and I was wondering if I can get some things to organize them. I was like, and this was way before, we were all on the online shopping. And she goes, so I have this catalog. I'm like, pick out what you want, right? And it ended up being such a great, great thing, right? That I never even thought of asking her. She took the initiative She's like, I was like, if you love to do this, where else can we use this skill? And she was fabulous at it. She did so much. And not just for my kids. She was just like, well, when they're busy and they're doing their homework, yeah, I could come in an hour early and let's do this. So are you even realizing the skill sets of the people around you and how they can be helpful? So think about this. Always know the calendar is your friend, okay? Calendar out as much as possible. We have great things going on with different color calendars for kids versus husbands versus family events versus business events. Keep all of it relevant so it's all in your vision and your mind's eye. It will keep the stress out of, where do I have to be? Where does this one have to be? Where does that one have to be? So that is, those are my tips. So it's delegate, support, and calendar. And to all the working moms, I hope and I wish you all a very, very happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a day we celebrate, yet every day of the year we celebrate motherhood, being a mom. We celebrate our own mothers. To your success today and always, please feel free to leave some notes in the episode, as well as let us know what else you want to hear on her success story. Please feel free to write a review and subscribe. See you next time.